body, the mind, and the soul are one, it means that they must be healing in the process. You understand? There has to be a step that the client you are having is taking in a positive direction. Cohort Masters in Human Resource Management. I am a certified counseling psychologist. I am a member of a professional body for counselors that is called KCPA. Once again, allow me just echo it. It is with a lot of humbleness that we are going to have this session with you. I feel so humbled to stand in front of you this very hour to speak to you. And I want to believe that God is going to guide us so that at the end of it all, we shall say that we have learned something for the sake of a better tomorrow. Because the people that we are handling are the people that we refer to them as the future. Sawa. Thank you so much. Lakini mimi I'm shy. You don't look at me, sana. When you want to look at the microphone. You understand that you are holding two titles where you are sitting, right? You are holding a title of being a guiding and counseling teacher. You understand that? Perfect. Allow me explain, because it has been there has been a lot of confusion where some people have been doing guiding and thinking that they're actually doing the counseling. That's how. So guiding is simply, in layman's language, guiding is simply advising. Guiding is simply advising. So. But when we are talking about counseling, there has to be a relationship that must exist for a counseling to take place. And we call that relationship therapeutic relationship. By therapeutic, I mean that what the first presenter mentioned, that when you meet a client, by the time they are leaving your side, you have to ensure you get that. So therapeutic relationship is a relationship that you build between you and the student that we are now referring to as a client, to ensure that you are working with them on the emotional issues that they are facing. It could be social issues, and I am happy that Mr. Duncan had already mentioned that we have the physical, we have the emotional, we have the social. We remember, and we have the psychological. That's how. Having said that, then I want to focus briefly on guidance. I've already said, forget about all those. Just say guidance is simply advising. And then counseling, there has to be a therapeutic, it is a therapeutic process that has a therapeutic relationship between you and the client, who is the student, so that you are helping them getting into an intervention that they are facing. It could be personal, social, or academic. And remember that we can always have individual counseling sessions or group counseling sessions. That's all. Thank you. I want to make it even more better. I have divided my presentation in terms of purpose, scope, professional role, and effort for you to understand the critical difference between being a guiding person and being a counselor. So that by the end of today, you will have assessed yourself and asked yourself, have I been only guiding, or have I been doing the two, or where have I stopped? You understand? So that you know how best to move forward as a GC teacher in that department. In terms of purpose, guidance is meant to give direction and support. It is more preventive in nature. How many of us have guiding and counseling days in our schools? Perfect. I know that in those days, you discuss things like mental health, right?
Yes.
What else do you discuss, madam?
Drug and substance abuse.
Drug and substance abuse. You are simply telling them that these are the effects of drug and substance abuse. You get? So that if you find yourself in this situation, these are the things that will happen to you. We are preventing. When we are talking about counseling, it is something that has happened. I am into the drug and substance already. You understand? So how then do you help me to move out of the situation? No wonder we say that it fosters emotional support and mental well-being. It is often a remedial and therapeutic in nature. it has happened already. In terms of scope, guidance is broad. That is why we are having the guiding and counseling days. We are talking about mental health. We are talking about academic performance. We are bringing a speaker to talk about study skills. It is broad. But now when we are talking about counseling, it has to be very specific. It is personal and it is a mental issue. That means that, you see, if you were to take your time to counsel me, you will be forced to get into my shoe and remove my clothes. Sasa, it is a point where you must see through me and get to understand what are the feelings that I am having, what are the emotions that are going through me. But when I come to your office, you can give me a general talk and guide me. In that session, we say you have just guided. Sasa, you understand? But now when you have to ask a question like, how did the death of your parent affect you? How did you feel it? And the student is explaining, you see, I saw my mom screaming when dad was beating her. Now you are already in the counseling process. You understand? And I always say, which is a very strong disclaimer, that please teachers, do not get into the counseling process if you are not ready. Because as a counselor, you can break or make the client that you are talking to at that particular moment. How do you break a client? A client can come to you and share everything that they're going through. And because you are not ready, you will find yourself sharing this in wrong platforms. You may find yourself sharing this in the staff room. And then there is a teacher who will be marking and listening to this story. And when this teacher goes to class, the first thing after greeting the students, they will say, where is Evelyn? And Evelyn will raise up her hand. And these teachers have this kind of behavior. It's okay, I've seen you. So we were talking about this yesterday. And Evelyn is there wondering, why did the teacher mention my name? Well, and a hold up a lesson, you have distorted someone emotionally. You get the point? And this is someone that we still expect them to excel academically. So when you are not ready teachers, you are allowed to refer. You can refer to your colleagues or you can refer to an external source of help. That's how. So please do not get into that process when you are not ready, because it needs a lot of you putting yourself together to understand and listen to the dirtiness of another person. That's how. Thank you. So in terms of professional role, guidance involves teachers and mentors. It is what we do in our schools during the days. You call in someone, could be someone that's like Nakada. You call Nakada to your school to talk about drug and substance abuse. It can be done by anyone. Allow me remind you, teachers, that when we are talking about counseling, there has to be skills that you must have for you to successfully and effectively help a client. No wonder we encourage teachers to attend such sessions, so that each and every time we are boosting our growth. We are enhancing our skills to be better in our counseling rooms for the sake of tomorrow. In terms of approach, I'd say it is more of informative and advisory. You're simply telling students, you see, for you not to fail your exams, you can have time for your personal timetable. That one is simply giving information, right? But now when it is counseling, it is therapeutic means it is involving a counselor and a client working together to explore thoughts, feelings, and behavior. By therapeutic, allow me also remind you that the sessions that we are having with the students when we are talking about counseling and we want to intentionally counsel them, we allow them to be in charge of the sessions. You are not telling them when you go home, because you have a problem with your mother, don't talk to your mother. You understand? You are not telling them when you go home because you have a problem with your father, ask your father if you can sit with them and talk about this issue. You are listening to them, and we always say that the clients have solutions behind the problems that they are bringing to you in the counseling rooms. So yours is to provide a safe environment for them to realize that they have what it takes to get out of the situation that they're going through internally. You understand that? So your role as a counselor then in those rooms is to empower them and to create that safe environment for them. I looked at this picture. I hope you can be able to look at it. And I asked myself that there could be a guiding and counseling teacher in this room who found themselves in that department. I've gone to schools where the guiding and counseling teacher, the principal simply walked into the staff room and asked, "Nani atatushikilia hii department?" And because there is a teacher in a corner that is always having a number of students during games time, the teacher shouted, "Mrs. Evelyn, utatushikilia mama." Ni sawa tu, washasema ni mimi. And you are now the HOD of guiding and counseling. I've also gone to schools where, because you are a CRE teacher, unaelewa sana mambo ya mwili. Hao watoto wetu wako na shida. Mama, utatushikia hiyo department? Ni sawa tu. Ushasema utashika. It happens, right?
Yes.
But then I looked at this and I wondered, while you are seated here to listen and to learn something today, have you looked deeply into the role that you are holding and the responsibility that you carry as someone working in that department, in that learning institution? See this. We have students who are dressed in the same uniform, looking dressed neat and very smart. But behind their seats, behind the well-dressed attire, behind the beautiful girl that you are seeing in front of you while you are teaching, there is someone struggling with depression. Behind the faces that you are seeing when you are in class, there is someone who is suffering from homelessness. They do not know, especially the ones in the school, they do not know where they are going to. When the bell rings, that hey, everyone is supposed to get out of this school by 5 p.m. It is a school rule, but they do not know where do I go to from this point. There is someone who is facing, someone who is grieving a loved one. There is someone who is having a chronic illness or having a person who is suffering from a chronic illness at home. And every time they are coming to class, while we are busy teaching them mathematics, calculus we want them to perform, they are calculating days. What if my mom dies tomorrow? That is the question that is lingering in their minds. That is the person that we are expecting to have an A, because every day we are sacrificing our time and effort to come and teach it. There is someone who is having a language barrier. There is someone with anxiety disorder. There is also someone who is a slow learner and wondering, will I really catch up? Will I ever be appreciated like so and so in my class? You understand? Will I ever get an idea? It is meaningful eye contact. An eye contact that is able to help you to capture the nonverbals that the student is not able to communicate. And so in this session, I just want to invite just 2 volunteers. Gent, who is a guiding and counseling teacher, and a lady, to come and show us how they sit in the offices when they're handling students. If you don't, I know a number of you, I will just call you. So if I know you, you are unlucky. Yes. I need a gent who is teaching in a girls' school. Any gent teaching in a girls' school? That when a class comes or a student comes, you simply remove your chair. You don't have to drag with the table is big, right? If there is a space, just drag your chair and bring it here, then you have the session. This other side. You understand? Why am I saying this? Because if this table is a barrier, yes, you are looking at the facial expression. What about what is happening here? It is also communicating something. You understand? And this could be the counseling issue. What you are handling is that the presenting problem. You understand? The issue could be here. You get that point? Let me give you an example. Someone who has been defined, a girl who has been defined, you will not find it in their face. The hint will not be here. You get the point? The hint will be here going downwards. How they are behaving, then you are able to ask. I noticed that when you are sharing this, you kept moving your legs like this. Could you be in any kind of pain? You understand? And then they tell you, yes, what could have caused the pain? And then you have gotten it. They are now narrating to you what has caused the pain. So when you concentrate here, you could lose the important thing that you should have focused on in the counseling session. So, and this is not depending on the place. Whether you are walking, you have to ensure that there is no banging. So while you are walking, take a pause meaningfully and intelligently to observe what is my client body, how are they moving, what is their legs, how have they placed their legs. They could be standing with you and they are doing this. Can you see me? They have crossed their leg. This is something to talk about in the counseling session. You understand? So you have to pause and check all that you're going through your client's body so that you're able to access and get the real issue that the client is facing. Sasa, for those of us who are in the spaces where you are a teacher who is a male and teaching in a female, and understand what you brought on board is very important. They have outgrown their skirts, and some of them have not outgrown them. It is their style, it is their fashion. So sometimes when you are seated like this, and you know they say men look at the eye, and the eye, I don't know what it does, and the counseling session may change everything else, yeah? So again, of course, I agree. It is very important to find safety, what works with you perfectly well, but always ensure that there is 1 meter in between the two of you. Even the clients need to feel safe. Sasa, yes, even the clients need to feel safe. I want us to demonstrate this sitting position in a counseling room. It is a solar. It is a sitting position that helps the client to know that I am with you. It is safe. Please share your issue. I am listening, and thank you so much for reaching out to me to help you. Anyone who can come and demonstrate this solar position? It is simply sitting squarely, open posture, leaning forward, maintaining eye contact and relaxing. Anyone who can come? Thank you. Kindly look at my feet.
Your hands should be moved. Because when you do like this, you are disinterested. Yes. And anytime maybe there is an issue that is so big to the person, and maybe he or she has spoken in a very low voice, you lean forward like that. Yeah. But you also the legs are not supposed to be like this closed. Open. You are ready to listen. Thank you.
Did you capture that? A clap for her. And when you sit like this, of course it shows. Oh, I want you to show. When you sit the way that Daktari here is sitting, you know, this is showing administrator. There is a student the way you are listening to Daktari. You are not interested in the emotional issues. You are interested in issues to do with money. So how you sit communicates a lot even in your counseling rooms. Some of you, when a client comes, a student has come, you are aware you're supposed to be maintaining the eye contact, and you know perfectly well it is important. Then the client has started speaking, you are marking, and while they are lost in their story, they are narrating what is happening to them. You are stealing time to mark. Then you put it away. You remember eye contact to come back. You are distracting the client. Another one. Another one.
Yes.
Some of the clients that come to your room come, they want to talk, and then silence. Have you met those students? Sir, kindly help me. It's okay. Have a seat. Silence. Please, do not distract the role of silence in your room and say, Sufanya haraka niko na haraka." Do not distract the role of silence in your room. Sasa, do not distract the role of silence in your rooms because it is important. That silence probably is what they needed. They simply needed your presence to feel safe and secure, and they will be there. Sasa, so don't tell them, I'm giving you my 10 minutes. These are additional. Ama, in that silence, you are not speaking, you are not distracting it, but you are completing, you are marking. Haraka haraka. Hiyo time amenyamaza, acha nimalize hii paper. Alafu wengine, you use your phones in the counseling room. And then you scroll into a status and you find something you cannot prevent laughing. No, the way laughing is uncontrollable. You can't prevent it. Umeiona imekufurahisha. You are in a session. Someone has come to you telling you about a loss of a loved one. Na ile status pia ni tamu. Unajikuta unacheka, alafu unamwambia sorry, ni status si wewe. Niambie what happened. Please, let us not be distracted in the sessions so that we help capture the right things that the class are bringing in the sessions. Awesome. The other important skill that I want to talk about is questioning skill. Questioning skill. How do you question? How do you use the skill of question? Remember, the skill of question is supposed to help you to get more information from the client. Senior. So how do you use it? Because of time, the skill helps you to gather information. Please avoid why. Never, in fact, never use why in your sessions because why sounds judgmental. You understand? If I came to you, please, Diana, I am so afraid. I have failed in mathematics. I've gotten very good grades. Then Diana, why? Will I continue to talk? I will start looking for the reason why I failed the mathematics. Rather than sharing the way it is, me feeling me as Winnie, as I share what has happened to me in the mathematics journey that made me fail. Some of you, a student just coming very innocently. Excuse me, madam. Can I talk to you? And you're smiling. You are smiling, but you are asking a wrong question that is blocking another person. You understand? So avoid why as much as possible because it sounds judgmental. Instead, use the what, how, when, where, and which. Things that are making the class to feel safe to share their story with you. You understand? Also, when you are using the skill questioning, please avoid closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions, an example, someone? A closed-ended question, an example, someone?
What is your name?
Yes? You have? A closed-ended question?
What is your name?
Okay. He's still thinking. Someone else? Yes, did you eat today? What options are you giving me? Two. So if I tell you no, will you give me money? we not, right? So that is why we avoid the closed-ended questions as much as possible, because they are giving the client only two options. It is like you are leading the client to a direction. So let the clients lead the questions. The next one is reflection. A skill of reflection is helping because it helps you to restate the client's words, feelings, or experiences to make them feel understood and also to make you understand them better. That's how. So you reflect when they are sharing their experiences. The patience. Patience is a skill. And you know, I captured this patience because of the fact that we are in a setup where the students we handle are story makers. A student wants to tell you that I feel so bad my mom did not come during the academic clinic day. But they begin from, when I was born, my dad and mom, they used to fight. And then my mom went this side, and my dad, and so when I've been calling my mom, and you see, she didn't even show up on the academic clinic. So there is stories, one after another. Sasa, please do not tell the Swara Kishenini. Maliza, umeongea sana. Nini kwa hizo vitu zote umesema, gani ndio shida? Ni gani ndio shida yako? Please, you can redirect a client to share objectively in your story, but do not distract. Be patient, because patience is a skill. If you go to the principal's office today and you find a line, let us be very honest. You wanted to tell mheshimiwa kuna hii workshop nataka kuattend. Umepata pale 3 people waiting. And the secretary is telling you, hata nataka kutoka. Kwa hivyo ukienda mbali, hautampata. Will you go? You will see. Sindio?
Yes.
And again, when you go to the principal, you have gotten in. I don't know whether you have experienced it. We experienced it all the other time. Mkubwa ako kwa simu. You can't get out because the secretary had told you to go in. Principal has not told you go out, but he's on phone. Have you experienced that cases? Yes. Do you tell them? Right? So everyone deserves to be waited. Yeah. So patience also helps the other person of the clan to feel like at least someone is here to listen to you. Allow me briefly take you through the legal and ethical issues in counseling. That while we are doing all this, there are things that we must observe as the practitioners. Yes. Mr. Duncan in his presentation said that records will save you. Sindio? When there is a crisis, records will stand in that gap for you. Sindio? Legal issues are also meant to protect you and to protect the client. So, you must ensure that you let the clients know that which they are bringing to your issues, to your offices, are confidential. And if you must share, it is to help them in terms of preventing them from harm. Do you understand that? And I also need to tell you that you are allowed to share if it is an objective sharing to help you help the client better. Sasa. But please, teachers vile mnaniangalia hivi. Usiende staff room useme, leo si nimekaa kwa session nyingine. But unajua back from degree. Huyo msana usimuone tu hivyo. Si leo ameniambia hivi. Please do not share the class issues in your staff room. You will destroy that girl or that boy who innocently came to you. Informed consent is not so important in the setup, in our learning setups, because they know that the department exists. You understand? And they are coming with their issues. So automatically they are accepting to be helped. So, but when you get out of the space, remember to seek the client's consent. So, the point where the informed consent comes in for you as the guiding and counseling teacher is when you have to refer them to another person. Please do not tell a student enda kwa nani nilishamwambia issue yako. Please do not. Let them be okay, know and be part and parcel of the process when you are referring. Sasa, let them feel safe with the person you are taking them to. Do not impose authority by the fact that you are a teacher and telling them who is supposed to listen to them. Sasa, so involve them. Seek their consent when you have to refer such cases. Allow me to say this. Teachers, usikwamilie case when you are not helping a student. Be free to let the student go to someone who can be of help. Sasa, even if that person is just someone who was recently appointed to join your guiding and counseling team, and you feel he or she is having a skill that can help that kind of a student, release that student to that kind of a person. Sasa, so that you are not hanging on to the class and they are not moving in a certain direction. Dual relationship is just to help you and protect you as a guiding and counseling teacher. Dual means we are having a relationship. It could be business relationship. It could be your brother, your sister, or a relative. Please, do not go home and they are telling you, si sister ya nani, sister ya brother yako akikuja, mtoto wa brother yako akikuja, utamcancel juu unakuwa kwa nasikianga uko kwa guiding and counseling department ya Nyamira Boys. Refer. Because when you begin to cancel a relative, things will unfold. By the time you are finishing that session, you are not talking to your mother-in-law. In fact, you may even start to ask yourself why you are married in that home, or you have been talking to so and so. Because they will tell you things that you didn't even imagine. So to be very safe and to protect yourself, refer such kind of cases. Duty to warn is simply to let the class know if whatever it is they have shared is putting them at risk, so that you can be able to protect them. Remember, at any given time, plant safety comes first. So normalize referring a case that you feel you cannot handle professionally or effectively. Allow me, as I finish my presentation this afternoon, to talk about peer counselors. How many of us have peer counselors in our schools? Answer. Good, a good number. How many of us have trained peer counselors in our schools? Answer. 3, you can imagine. 4, you can imagine. That we are 50 plus. You have been trained and given skills, so now you can handle issues. But there are issues that a student who a class sat and said, nani anakuanga mfriendly, anaweza tusaidia, is going to handle and will not even know how to answer it. Before you know it, the people you have selected as peer counselors will be overwhelmed emotionally. You understand? They will be carrying the baggage of other students. They will now be the patients. So it is important as a GC to ensure that your peer counselors are well trained to help them to effectively handle the issues at a class level. Why do we advocate for peer counseling training? Because it is helping you as someone in the department in ensuring that you are able to be more active and effective in your running of that department. How? There are issues that they will handle at a class level. You understand? So they will only be referring to you the complex issues. So it is helping you and giving you time to be a teacher and to be a GC and to be a parent or to be a brother or a sister at the same time. So if you are to forget everything today, for those of us who are having peer counselors in our schools that have not been trained, please, when you go back, remember to share this with your bosses. We talked about report. Do a very nice report from this training. Share with your bosses the gap that still exists in the school so that that gap can be filled. When we had a training at Kisumu last year for the GCs, where the GC, Madam Pamela, right, attended from Saimit. She called us. You can raise up, just say hi. Yes. We went as a team and we trained a peer counselor. We are here to help you function better. Because anyway, why will we be keeping to attend these trainings if we cannot implement these things and make better our departments and our learning institutions? You understand? Allow me to tell you, dear teachers, that you are in a position where even if you have a boss who does not believe that counseling works, you have a full mandate and you have what it takes to convince your bosses that this department needs empowerment and this department can do better and this department can achieve more in this school if given a chance. I'll tell you for sure that what Mr. Duncan mentioned, that we worked with Ramba when Ramba school lost 2 students living in a septic tank. Did you hear that? Yes. We were the team that camped there with more than, we were around 30 counselors for a full week, offering counseling, talking to the teachers, talking to the non-staff, talking to the board. Who made it possible? Diana Raisa from the congregation. We are now in charge. Say hallelujah. She's the head of department at Ramba Boys. We trained the teachers in the Ramba Boys, the ones that are in the department. We also trained the peer counselors. And when this happened, she saw a gap and she convinced the principal and the board that we need a professional team to come and talk to our students and also talk to the teachers' fraternity because they were greatly affected. And we did that. You understand? So that tells you that you have a role, so do not limit yourself at any given point. And we have a report to show that this is what we did. I love showing you so that it doesn't appear like just talk. You can see counseling and emotional wellness intervention session report. Date was 21st to 24th of April. Lead counselor Winya Yebo, client Ramba High School. You see, so it is important. You are in a position to initiate as long as what you learn here, you can document it and present it. I want to also give an example with Nyamira School. We met in Kisumu. Geoffrey here. Again, rise up and say hi. Through him, we had Mr. Duncan do a presentation on mental wellness to the teachers in the class. After that, he also noted a gap together with Madam Rhoda, who they worked hand in hand with. Noted a gap that it was important for the team to also come back and talk about emotional issues. He realized that the students that they're having at Nyamira Gap, boys, most of them are having issues with their parents. You understand? You know, today, a student can kill himself because he was told, leo hakuna maziwa tunakunywa strong tea. You know that? And a student can even fail to come home, literally, because you asked him that today, baba, ukirudi kutoka shule, utatoa zile nguo niliandika nje, uniweke hapo. And I feel like it's too much. You understand? I should be doing something different from that. And so after realizing that, again we went. Currently, we are in the negotiation of ensuring that we train your peer counselors. And I trust that it is going to happen because we have seen the effectiveness. Allow me to give another narration. The school that is hosting this GC, we came into this school in 2023 to request for a chance to have our programs in this school, either academic programs or to train the peer counselors or the student leaders. Mr. Ojuang, who we spoke to that time, told us, I really want my peer counselors to be trained, but it is still very tough because of the boss that I have. Let's see what happens. 2024, he organized, nothing happened. We are in 2025, what is he doing? He's hosting a workshop. Did he do it alone? The principal literally had to run even to seek for a signature at the TSC office because he made the principal to understand that counseling plays a critical role in the learning. Did you hear that? So you have what it takes to do this. We have a number of examples. Some of the teachers are not here. Schools like Origo Boys, schools like Kusenge High, Kevaye Girls. Those are schools that have had this kind of effective programs because of just attending a session like this. Teachers do not go and give these notes and keep referring to them when you have a client. I'm supposed to give an eye contact. Here is the eye contact. Please let them help you so that we can make better our learning institutions, and we are always here. If, as I finish, allow me to say these teachers that when students are heard, understood, and guided, they don't just pass exams, they thrive in life. That's the power of a functional counseling department. You are simply giving life to the students, creating a safe space where they are meant to be the best versions of themselves. Thank you so much, teachers, for listening. I trust if I have another opportunity to come and speak to you again, I will only be sharing the good things that we have done in our learning institutions. Because every time I start to speak like